Welcome back, pod people. My guests today are Victor Fink and Joshua Land, the writer-directors of Incubation, which is a sort of home invasion thriller with a twist set during a pandemic. And something that you guys really emphasized during the Q&A portion after I watched this at Midwest Weird Fest, which was an absolute blast, is that while this is set during a pandemic, it is not set during the pandemic. This is not a movie about COVID. This is just a movie that was, to some degree at least, inspired by uh, the experience of living through a pandemic, and which got you thinking about other aspects of things that could play out even if they didn't necessarily in the real world. And so I'm curious to hear more about that. Can you talk a bit about how your experiences during COVID inspired you guys to make this movie?
Sure. So yeah, it's set during a fictional pandemic. I believe the virus we coined was HNV-24, um, which I don't even know how we came up with that one, but that's the virus in the movie. So yeah, the reason we didn't want it to be like explicitly COVID because we wanted it to be a bit more of a world changing. Not that COVID wasn't a world changing virus, but it didn't lead to the average person having to live off the grid in the middle of the woods. We mostly carried on with changes to how we lived.
Yeah, more societal collapse implied in this version, but
yeah, so so it kind of was inspired a lot by like certain online subcultures that kind of grew during the pandemic. So like there were certain groups that like isolated, that took isolation to a longer, more extreme duration than others, where instead of rejoining society, with mass social distancing, all the usual stuff, it was more like I'm going to pull my kids out of school and keep them out of school for an extended period of time, even after they've reopened for a very long time. Like our lives are now permanently changed. Our lives are now, we're completely isolated and cut off from society, and that's how I'm going to raise my children. So we just thought, like, I don't know, we figured we could, in horror, you take something that's sort of tangible and you try to bring it to its logical, to its more extreme end. So we were like, well, what would it be like to grow up completely, completely isolated and completely off the grid, and then what could happen from there.
Yeah, the talk about how society has changed is interesting because, like, the characters talk a lot about how society has changed and how they're isolated from it, and how the movie is about a family, and the mother is the only character who is going out and interacting with society at large in the form of like going into town every now and then to get supplies, which is something that the characters talk about repeatedly during the film, but we never actually see. And I was really interested in that. I was wondering, like, are we going to get to see the town? If we see the town, is it going to match the mother's descriptions of it? Or is it going to be really different? And then the answer ends up being that no, we don't see the town at all. And I'm curious, like, how much of that is that you like deliberately didn't want there to like you wanted the only views on society that we get to be through the eyes of the different characters, and we never get like any sort of objective view of it. And how much is just like the difference in scale between having a movie set at a cabin in the woods versus having a movie set in an entire town where you would need to have dozens of extras and take over a street or something.
I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, we wanted the viewer to see the film or to see the world through the eyes of Ethan, the protagonist. And since he was, stuck at the house or, in the surrounding woods, we wanted the viewer to be there as well. And we like the idea of a self-contained thriller where there's one location um and yeah, there were definitely logistical uh considerations to that as well. We um it's it's a low budget indie thriller, and setting it all in one location definitely makes sense. So we actually, it's funny you mentioned going into town. We I think Josh, we kind of toyed with the idea of having an ending where where a few of the characters are actually looking at the outside world a little bit,
Yeah.
and walking around, and we decided it just wasn't. It was better just to keep in the vicinity of the cabin. But I don't know
Yeah.
if you have anything to add to that.
No, I think that you said it correctly. I mean, I think the point, like, the point was to see it from the kid's perspective. So if we had shown the mom in town and the different and that kind of stuff, it kind of kills the claustrophobic nature of the film. It's
Yeah.
it kind of needs to feel like they're imprisoned. So like the second, if the audience gets to leave, then you kind of lose the perspective of what it's like to be the kid.
Yeah, and you also, yeah, you might see some discrepancies, and instead, instead we're left with the kind of like a,
The mystery.
just trust mom that everything is the way they talk about it.
Yeah. That's interesting that you talk about it being claustrophobic because on the one hand, I do see what you mean where like it's isolated, your movement is restricted. But on the other hand, they're in a very open environment. Like they're not I mean, like the daughter is constrained to the house, but the son is going outside regularly. And they're, in the middle of nowhere in the woods. So uh very different from being like locked in a coffin or something. And so
That's very true.
so yeah, I'm curious if you could talk a bit about like sort of that dichotomy there where they're in this very beautiful environment and they're not like chained up or anything, but they are very restricted. And talk a bit about sort of the social aspect of that because it like something that I found interesting during the movie is sort of the competing aspects of physical violence versus social control, where there's like there is very obvious physical violence because like the characters in the film are very different like sizes from each other. Like there's the little girl who is a little girl much smaller than any of the other characters. There's the mother who is a like I would say somewhat smaller than average adult woman, her son who is a strong young man, and then the invader who is a very large man. And so in terms of like pure physical power, there's a clear hierarchy of the invader could kick the shit out of anybody. The son could, if he needed to, overpower the mom, and the mom could presumably overpower the daughter. Uh, but then, because of the social power, for much of the movie, the mother is the most powerful character, even though physically she isn't. And I'm curious if you could talk a bit about that and won't dive into spoilers just yet. This is normally a full spoilers podcast, but because this is still in the festival circuit, we'll push that off at least a little bit. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts about that.
Sure. Yeah, so to answer, I guess to touch on the first part about about how like he can be outside. So yeah, it's interesting because like I mean I think part of the point was like he can be outside, but it's like contained to this like one isolated section, and it's like there's like an invisible barrier that he can't leave. Plus, there's rules about how he's allowed to be outside.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean it's definitely like it's like an invisible prison, but yeah, it's like a seemingly wide open prison, but it's like so I think we were trying to balance like it's not like once I mean the movie obviously gets more not to spoil it, but the movie gets more claustrophobic as it goes, like
Yeah,
obviously.
things do close down.
yeah, yeah,
Um but yeah, I know I think it's like this illusion of freedom that I think was something that we were definitely trying to get across that like you can like see the wide open woods, but like there's sort of this invisible barrier that you can't cross. Plus, there's rules about the mom has rules about how you're allowed to be interacting with the outside.
right.
Um, And then to touch on your main point, I think I think it was important. I think in horror it's important to have different kinds of power and different kinds of characters exerting different kinds of power. So I think, if you want, I think it was important to us that like that the characters could be affected by like different kinds of power that could shift. So there's social power, there's obviously the power, there's obviously the physical power and fear. Um and yeah, no, it's just interesting. I hadn't really fully thought of it, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess we put everyone next to each other. Yeah, there would be some massive size discrepancies.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we were drawn to the character who plays the invader partially because yeah, he is such an imposing figure, and that's such like an easy win in terms of like physical intimidation. And yeah, the guy who plays the invader is yeah, he's got a lot of like muscle, and he's got a very physical background from the kinds of things he does, like
Boxing and
he trains fighters and he's dabbled in pro wrestling and whatnot.
Oh man.
he's more than dabbled.
So, yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff, but anyway.
Yeah, it was interesting. This was the second movie I watched at Midwest Weird Fest where uh one of the antagonist characters was just strikingly huge actor. The other one being in The Driftless. Did you guys watch that one?
Our flight came in like right after that because it was on that Thursday, and our flight came in.
Oh yeah, we just missed that one, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit with a very, very large sort of cannibal hillbilly character to the degree where as I was watching it, I was going like, are they using forced perspective to make this guy look really tall? And then during the Q&A session, somebody asked, did you guys use forced perspective to make that guy look really tall? And they're like, no, we found an actor who's 7'7".
Wow.
Oh wow, he's 7'7".
Yeah.
Now that's an asset for it's a horror film, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
So yeah, you're talking about finding an actor who's done like boxing and professional wrestling. It's like, yeah, no wonder he's so physically dominating in all of those scenes.
Yeah, used to throwing people around. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that I always find deeply uncomfortable as a sort of subgenre of horror is that um social pressure, home invasion. I'm thinking of like I watched Clawfoot last year, which is about a lady hires a plumber to install a clawfoot bathtub, and then the plumber just doesn't leave. Um, and it's a really creepy movie, and so much of it is about like this guy does have a legitimate reason to be here in the first place, but now I'm getting really scared and want to get him to leave, but I can't, and there's this social pressure to stop that from happening. And I found when they like so the character who becomes the home invader shows up in the woods saying like, hey, I've I've suffered this tragedy. I need help. I'm starving. And the family, especially the mother, takes pity on him. And then once he's in the house, getting rid of him becomes a much more difficult task. And yeah, the I'm curious about like the social commentary there, the politeness, guest culture, and then especially the when I was watching that, I had the same reaction as the son character did in the moment of like, this seems so out of character for the mother, who's this incredibly paranoid woman, to let this huge stranger into their house. Um, and of course, there is an explanation for that, but we aren't quite in spoilers yet, unless you want to talk about that. Um, But yeah, was this drawing from any sort of like personal experience with the awkwardness of trying to get like things that you really want to stop, but you feel socially compelled, like you're not allowed to say, or anything like that? Because it was very evocative emotionally.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I feel like everyone's been in that awkward social situation of like, oh, when's this going to be over? Also, I feel like a common theme of nightmares is a lot of things are happening to you and you can't do anything about it.
Hmm.
And it just keeps happening to you. And like, that's one of the I don't know if you've seen Darren Aronofsky's film Mother.
No, I haven't actually.
That movie is like, I mean, a lot of people, I guess, I guess it was a pretty polarizing film, but I love that movie because it felt like a nightmare. Like that movie is literally about house guests who won't leave.
An increasing number of them. Eventually, the house is
Yeah,
just full of them.
yeah, and it's just like the main character has no control over the situation, and so it just becomes this like unbelievable visceral nightmare. Um, and I feel like I'd never seen a movie that captured like what it feels like to have a bad dream more than that movie. So I think that's definitely just like an inherent. I mean, maybe that's just social anxiety manifesting in the way we write, but yeah, I mean, I feel like that's definitely I don't know, that always pops into my head sometimes, just like the how uncomfortable it is to not be in control of a situation.
Makes sense. So, you mentioned liking or at least appreciating movies that feel like nightmares. So I'm trying to remember Baleful. I watched a movie called Baleful last year, or the year before, which is the most dreamlike, nightmare-like movie I can recall seeing in quite a while. So definitely worth checking out if you're interested in that kind of thing.
Cool.
Um, so let's talk a bit about the production of your
Sure.
film. So, um, you guys are currently on the festival circuit. I watched it at Midwest Weird Fest, which is also where my movie, The Philip Experiment, premiered. Uh,
Great
how
movie.
has, thank you. How has the festival circuit been treating you? Are you at like the beginning, the end of your uh, tours of that?
The beginning. So Midwest
Nice.
was our premiere.
Excellent. Same.
So so we don't
Do
know
you,
how the festival circuit's gonna really go yet,
Yeah,
but
yeah, we'll see how it goes from here.
yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
I mean, Midwest is great. I mean, we've screened it at Midwest before. It's one of our it's like the number we screened our film Bad Witch, which is a very different very different movie at Midwest, like right before the COVID lockdown. So
Okay.
we kind of ushered in the pandemic with that one. Because it was also our premiere for Bad Witch.
Nice.
And we had a bunch of festivals lined up after that, but they didn't happen, at least not in person, and some were virtual, some became virtual screenings. But obviously we weren't. The day after we got home was when our state has started was like, actually, you guys are at a stay-at-home order.
Mhm.
Uh, we're like, what? So yeah, like, but Midwest is an amazing, amazing festival. It's such a kind, warm community, and the festival director, Dean Bertram, is just like one of the most passionate human beings I've ever met. In
Yeah,
terms
Dean.
of
Yeah, Dean's awesome for sure.
championing filmmakers, just
Shout out
incredible.
to Dean.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Dean. And
Yeah.
I completely
So,
lost track of your question. I'm sorry.
I was asking about like how the festival circuit has been going for you and like what your plans are. Is your goal to try to get um a deal with a traditional distributor, or are you just trying to build hype before you do self-distribution, or just, sort of seeing what happens?
I think a mix of both. I mean, yeah, it depends. Like, we're not opposed to signing with a traditional distributor. It just sort of depends on what seems best for the film and what kind of audience we can build. So I don't know. We've been weighing both options. Like, yeah, I'd say either could happen. It just sort of depends on. Yeah, I mean, it just sort of depends on what the nature of where it's at by the time we're ready to make that decision. I guess it's hard to really.
Okay.
It's still
So
it's still up in the air for us.
you're leaving the possibilities open depending on, what sort of opportunities arise.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Was Bad Witch your first feature film?
Uh, no, it was our fifth.
Wow. Okay. Dang. All right. Cool. How have you distributed your previous films?
So most of those are through traditional like distributors. So Bad Witch was with Gravitas Ventures, so they're a pretty traditional distributor. So they and then yeah, like we have another film, I Like Me, with Gravitas. And then yeah, we have our film Abe Canyon that's through another distributor called Indie Rights. Um,
Oh yeah, I've been looking at them recently. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about them.
yeah, I mean, so they're pretty straightforward. So they're basically like, we'll get your film on these platforms, and here's a very set percentage. So it's a very straightforward kind
All
of
right.
thing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm curious about that because I have interviewed a lot of people. I've never distributed a film. The Philip Experiment is my first feature film, and for a long time everybody was saying that the way to do it is to self-distribute with Film Hub. But then last year, Film Hub significantly changed how they operate, and now people are a lot more mixed in their recommendations. And so I'm curious to hear what sort of alternatives you're using. And it sounds like Indie Rights is fairly straightforward. Not a lot to
Yeah.
say on the subject.
Yeah, I mean, I think Indie Rights is sort of similar in a way to something like Film Hub. It's just like you talk to a person instead of, I guess, in a Film Hub, where it's more just like an automated system. As far as I know, I've never distributed through Film Hub, so I'm not completely.
Yeah, yeah, their whole gimmick was like we can operate at scale by automating almost everything. Um, so yeah, it was I think almost everyone that I interviewed about it never talked to a human at Film Hub. They just did everything through their web interface. Um,
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, Film Hub is definitely something we've been considering for this one. I think, it's like, because I know like the alternative is something like Bitmax, where it's like instead of a more percentage split, it's you pay a fee up front, and you
yeah,
pay a fee per platform up front.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, we haven't. Yeah, like I mean, definitely Film Hub and Bitmax are probably like the two we've been looking at the most in terms of self distribution. And then of course, if like we can build our own audience, then you can sort of put it directly on like Vimeo on demand, or like sorry, Vimeo direct sales, or other platforms like that, where you have full control.
yeah. That's something that a few people have talked with me about, but it sounds really difficult to do because I know like I have a weekly movie night with my friends where we almost always what we do is we each like pick some phrases to search for on Tubi and go through and find a few movies that look cool, pitch them to each other, and then we decide which one we want to watch. uh and so that discoverability is really valuable. Whereas if something is only hosted on the website, like for specifically that film, then unless we already know about it, it's not going to, be something we end up watching. And so that's a really difficult path to take, I think. But one that if you can do it, you'll, keep more of the money that the movie earns. I was I was guessing that Bad Witch was your first movie because that's the only movie of yours that's on Tubi.
I thought I Like Me was on Tubi, isn't it?
Which one?
I thought I Like Me was on Tubi.
I Like Me. Well, I'll
I'll
find
change it.
out.
I guess it's like when
I
we go through like once it's with the distributor, it's like we don't the platforms change and come back. Oh yeah, it's on Tubi.
oh, interesting. Okay, then in this case, I'm encountering a bug because when I click on, so you're right that I Like Me is on Tubi. I search for it. It says directed by Joshua Land down at the bottom. I click on Joshua Land and it shows here's a list of every movie that we have directed by Joshua Land. There's Bad Witch,
Yeah.
and it doesn't show I Like Me. It's
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it's the same. I Like Me and Bad Witch have the same distributor, so that's weird.
Yeah, and I think this is a
Rabbit hole.
genuine. I think this is a bug on Tubi's end because this is the second time now that I've encountered this where I like click on someone's name to see all of their movies, and the list that it shows me doesn't include the title I was just looking at when I clicked on their name.
So
So
weird.
it's clearly having some sort of problem.
I'm pretty sure Ape Canyon's on Tubi also. Or used to be at least. I don't know if it still is.
Yeah, it is.
What
Man,
isn't?
and also directed by Joshua Land. Click on it, and the only one it shows me is Bad Witch.
That is
Tubi, get your shit together.
That's funny.
It is very common that I'll watch a movie and go, oh, I really liked this. I wonder if the director has any other movies on Tubi, and I click on their name and then, favorite whichever of their titles look most interesting. So
Oh, that's really funny. I didn't realize it wasn't like connected like that. That's funny.
So you guys are very much like a filmmaking pair. All the projects of yours that I'm looking at have both of your names on them, and I'm not seeing solo work. So, how did you guys get together in the first place? And like, why did you decide to work together so closely for so long?
Victor John.
Sure, yeah. So Josh and I met in college in a 16 millimeter film class. I think it was intro to film production. And we became close friends in college and started doing projects together. I think our film program was pretty academic, and there were some people who were, you know, more interested in actually making stuff than others, and Josh and I were very interested in making as much stuff as we could. So so the two of us started doing projects in college, and then we founded a company together. So yeah, so let's see, and then we've been working together for a long time. Yeah, we met in I think 2012 or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And yeah, when I met Josh, I think, let's see, I met you. Yeah, you were doing, because you did your first feature in college. So yeah, I worked on that a little bit. I think that was one of our first times like working
Really?
together in a production sense. And then so you'd already been like doing the feature thing, and then we got talking and wanted to do a feature together, and that was Lotus Eyes. That was our first feature we produced together, and yeah, Josh directed and I shot it. And then the relationship kind of evolved over time, and we ended up, and we've always been worked closely on stuff together, but we co-direct now. So
Cool. What's that process like? I've most of the film sets that I've observed in any capacity have really been sort of mini dictatorships where even if the cinematographer or whoever is giving useful feedback, all of the decisions ultimately land on the one director. And so if there's two of you doing that, I'm curious how that works and like what you see as the differences between how you do things versus the solo director method.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just sort of, I think just because we've worked together for so long, we've just had like a very specific shorthand with each other that I think it's just sort of, sorry, it's hard to
Yeah, I mean, I think we let's see. I mean, there's a lot of I'd say we go back and forth between like who's talking to the actors and who's telling making certain decisions and telling the crew whatnot. But then there's a lot of just discussion as well, and also just like implicit understanding of our sort of shared sensibilities and um yeah, it's interesting to like hear someone ask like, oh, how does it work, because it's like I'm not even
We're not that kind.
it's kind of second nature, and like I'm not even entirely sure how it works. I guess maybe I should pay a little closer attention next time so I can give a better answer. Instead of just like, well, I mean, it just works mostly. I mean, we argue about things, but that's also like part of the process of the two of us like making a decision together, and often it's like one of us will see something that the other doesn't quite see, and sort of the synthesis of like a disagreement can actually be beneficial and can like lead us to something that
Something better.
yeah, something better, which I think is a very positive aspect of the working relationship. So, and that's a good thing about having a close collaborator.
Yeah. Have there been any instances like that you can call to mind where you disagreed, and like how did that play out?
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
mean, just every day,
yeah, I mean, we just. I mean, we usually try to just like if we're disagreeing, we don't, we're not. We usually just try to step off to the side for a second and then just like quickly talk it out, and then we come back. So that's usually our solution for that kind of thing. So that we're trying not to give because we never want to give like contradictory direction to actors or crew. So if we disagree, we usually just like step off for a second, have a quick powwow, usually, and then we come back.
But yeah, in terms of like something major, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I think
Yeah, we try
I,
to
I
work
think I, I
as
think
much
I think
time
maybe
pre-production as
Josh,
possible.
maybe you wanted the ending to be a little darker on this movie. That was one thing we disagreed about.
I did. I didn't want the ending to be darker, but I mean, that was something. We also like, that was the kind of thing we worked out in pre-production instead of.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't like an onset decision.
Yeah,
And I mean, we do uh prep as thoroughly as we can. So hopefully there's not so much of like a, oh my gosh, you thought this and I thought this, when we get to doing a scene, some very different vision. I mean, we've generally worked out most of it ahead of time.
yeah.
Nice. So you have a pretty extensive pre-production process then?
Yeah, I mean, we prep as much as we absolutely can. I think on this film and a lot of our others, we're doing a lot of, we have people helping us, but it's a lot is falling on our shoulders. We did, Josh and I were the main producers on this film. So we're, in addition to planning the creative, we're also getting everything else in place. And I would love to team up with some more producers and have more help in that regard. In terms of logistics, and we have people we work with.
Yeah, we have an amazing line producer who helps us with all the logistics and all the paperwork stuff and all that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, her name's Stacey Gensler and she's amazing and everyone should hire her.
Yeah, Stacey's great.
But but yeah, it kind of just ends up being kind of blobbed together in many ways, just like producing and the creative stuff just ends up being like one combination of yeah.
Yeah. So how big was the crew on this? I could tell. I'm sure I could have told if I had remembered well enough when watching the credits, but it's been about a week since I've seen it now, so I can't recall off the top of my head.
It was about an average of 10 crew members per day.
Yeah,
So
let's see. We had.
it
I'll
was
see. I'll see if I can remember everyone. Yeah, we had a first AD, UPM, um, a first assistant camera, gaffer, grip, sound, recordist, your production sound mixer, production designer, 2 hair and makeup, and usually a couple PAs, and I'm forgetting anyone else probably, but
Probably, but yeah,
yeah.
something like that.
Nice. Is that like more or similar to your prior productions, or?
It's pretty similar.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's kind of the scale we've always worked at.
Yeah, I think I mean, there've been like a few. Trying to think of Lotus Eyes. Did we have less people, Josh, or was it?
Depends on the day, but it was pretty
It
similar.
was, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to, I mean, it'd be great to have more budget for, a little bit of a bigger team. I mean, obviously there's drawbacks with a bigger team as well, but I think this is about what we can do our thing with. Yeah.
Nice. So, uh, most of the people that I interview want to stay basically at the sort of level that they're already operating at. They're making independent films and they want to keep making independent films. And on occasion, I interview somebody who's like, I'm making independent films, but my goal is to make it into mainstream Hollywood. Where do you guys fit in that spectrum?
I think probably somewhere in between. I think I mean, like I want to be able to operate. I mean, we have ideas that we definitely want to do that would require a bigger budget than we've been able to do. So I
Okay.
think that inherently involves like, trying to move up in some regard in terms of that, because you can't always self-finance your movie on credit cards forever. Yeah, especially when we have ideas that we want to do that would just like straight up cost more. And
Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly like more money for the smaller stuff too.
oh yeah, for sure. So
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely stretched then on this, but
yeah, I think in that situation, definitely would love to have a bigger budget. But so yeah, I feel like I'm kind of open to what the possibilities are. I don't.
yeah, I mean, we'd like to keep making projects.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, that's
What's one of the things that you'd like to do that requires a bigger budget?
So we want to make a musical.
Oh,
Yeah. So we have a couple we've been floating around. So the one that would require a really big budget is one that I co-wrote with my wife Abby years ago. It's a dystopian romantic comedy that would take place in this small town and after some ambiguous apocalyptic event. So that would definitely cost multiple millions of dollars. So um, which might be a little burdensome. We have a smaller scale one that's a horror musical that we're also working on. And that's probably going to be our attempt at a next project. It would be a bigger scale than the one we just did, but not millions of dollars. But again, it would still require a bigger budget than what we have.
yeah. Yeah, that so since you guys got in a little late, you guys didn't see the opening film Peeping Todd.
Oh no, we did. We just didn't
Oh,
see.
you did?
We just because we got in on Thursday night, so we didn't get to see the Driftless. But that was Thursday. Peeping
Oh.
Todd was right before our screening on Friday.
oh yeah, we
Oh,
saw
okay. I
Peeping
remember
Todd.
the order
Yeah,
wrong.
we liked it a lot. Yeah,
I love Peeping Todd. That was great. Yeah, very much enjoyed
Yeah.
Peeping Todd. And I was so excited that they had that. I was like, oh my god, they made a horror musical. I love this.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very lucky to be able to see that.
Yeah. So for listeners who aren't familiar with this, Peeping Todd is, as you just said, a horror musical, which is why I brought it up since you mentioned wanting to do a musical. And it is also currently doing the festival circuit, so you can't watch it at the moment. But it is an adaptation expansion of a short film, which you can watch. It's on YouTube. It's just a 15-minute version of the same premise, which is it's a musical about a stalker.
who wouldn't love that?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
No, it was really great. And yeah, I think the song they have in the short is one of the songs in the feature as well. So
Yeah.
there's some carryover there, and you'll get a sampling of what it feels like. So
Yeah.
yeah, very very weird and wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, for the first 10 or 15 minutes of the feature length version, I was just having an incredible sense of deja vu, going like, have I somehow seen this before? And then afterwards remembering, oh yeah, this must have been a short before it was a feature, wasn't it? And yes, it was. So you said this is your fifth feature film?
Sixth, yeah.
Sixth. Okay.
But they're all all of our films have been low, really, very micro budget, kind of like
yeah. I that's how most of the people that I talk to have been operating. But still, that's a pretty impressively large number of features. A lot of people that I talk to have made like one, maybe two or three. And so I'm curious, knowing all the many things that I'm sure you've learned from actually going through the production process on all of those films, if you could, you know, travel back in time to before you started production on this or before you started production on your first film, and like tell your younger self some of the lessons that you've learned, what would you do differently?
Be better at writing. I feel like that's always I'm always like, after I finish a film, I'm always like, oh my god, I would have changed this in the script, I would have changed that in the script. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we do a lot of drafts, but it's like every time we film something, I'm always like, oh my god, why did we think of it? How did we not think of this? And now
It's different seeing it in the film than reading it on the page. And yeah, I think we've definitely developed. I think I have a better idea of what the film will actually look like with us making it when I'm reading a script, and what the I think I think when I was younger, I was more, I don't know if delusional is the right word, but when you read the page, you imagine what it could be, and you don't necessarily know what it takes to make it happen. So I think my our producer sensibilities have certainly strengthened, and we can see, oh yeah, this little set piece is going to be, if we do it on this budget, it's really not going to look very good, and it's we should try to do something a little simpler that we can handle with our resources. And
that's
All
true.
right.
It's
and
very
I
true. Like,
I think our film incubation is probably the smallest in scale that we've done. Not it wasn't it was like similar budget or to a lot of the other ones, but we we had a better sense of like, well, we have this amount of we're going to put this amount of money into it, and we should maximize it by putting it in this this one location and limited cast, and you can kind of make your dollars go further that way, as opposed to like stretching yourself too thin on like action set pieces that like don't really end up looking that good with the production resources that you have. So yeah, I think we've definitely gotten better in that regard. In terms of something that I would like, yeah, I mean, it's like I don't want to tell my younger self to be like, to like think smaller. I mean, you still want to like dream big and everything, but I don't know, maybe because I Josh, like I am glad that we like attempted some of the things we did in our films when we were younger that were like just seemed ridiculous. Like I mean, Lotus Eyes was kind of like a dystopian road movie, and we kind of made it work by like finding these sort of like semi-abandoned locations that were kind of scattered around the DMV. And like maybe if we were working on that script now, I'd be like, well, this is too much. Like it's not. We shouldn't try to do this with this budget. Like I am kind of glad that we went and tried it.
We learned a lot. We had a lot of really great people that we still work with.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you can only learn by trying stuff,
For sure.
Yeah. So we've avoided talking about spoilers entirely so far, but I do want to get into that at least a little bit. So this is I'm not sure when this episode will go live, in at least a few months after we're recording it. So there's a chance that it will be available for people to watch. But if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it yet and you really don't want to get spoiled on the twist, stop listening now. Okay, we've given them the opportunity. So this really is very much a movie about family, where it starts out about the mother, the son, and the daughter, and it's about their relationships, and then we introduce the son's girlfriend, who is only in, I think, like two, maybe three scenes, plus some texting back and forth, but still has a pretty sizable impact on the film. And then there's the home invader who shows up, who we eventually learn in the last act of the film that this is their dad, and he has come back in this sort of conspiracy thing with the mom to try to like scare them straight, but then he ends up not actually cooperating with her. Um, so I had a lot of different ways that I could sort of interpret this, especially the deception on the part of the mom, where she is initially pretending that there's a home invasion going on when in fact they're working together, and then it turns into a real home invasion. Um, and I was really curious about like how did you guys come up with that, and what sort of themes were you thinking about when you decided to make this character have this, very, very personal relationship with the protagonists?
Sure. So yeah, I guess putting on, yeah, full spoilers now. So yeah, I guess like I think I mentioned this during the Midwest Q&A, but I was really inspired by I'm a huge fan of the Chucky film series, the Child's Play film series.
Oh, I love that movie, those movies. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, one of my favorites is the film Curse of Chucky, which is
Hmm.
one of the smaller, like the smaller budget films actually in the franchise. It was a pretty contained movie. But it's basically a home invasion thriller, but and that takes place in this really awesome gothic spooky house.
Yeah.
I know Don Mancini said he was really influenced by like De Palma and those kinds of gothic horror stuff, and he nailed it because he's a genius. But I think one of the reasons I love that movie is that um, instead of it just being like, oh, here's Chucky and he's gonna go kill everyone in the family, that's the movie. It's like Chucky, instead he's this disruptive force that sort of makes all of the family secrets of Nika, the protagonist, dysfunctional family come out. And so it's like all the ways that they treat her poorly and all their interpersonal drama and all, and just like it all, like he's sort of this disruptive force that just sort of makes it all bubble to the surface. So so I feel like we were kind of going for that kind of, we were kind of going for that a lot, where it's sort of um like the home invader isn't just his issue isn't just that he's like spooky and big and is gonna do evil things to people. It's also that he's going to, he's going to spill, he's going to create all the dark secrets that everyone in this family is holding. He's going to make them bubble to the surface and explode. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that was like sort of on a fundamental level. Like the point of the invader isn't just I'm here to be scary and wave a gun around. It's sort of like, well, I'm gonna make all the things I'm gonna make all the dark secrets of this family come out and explode right on the surface. And the family's gonna sort of implode, not just like, and he's the catalyst. He's not just like,
Yeah, they're not just a unified front against him anymore.
Yeah.
Things get a lot more complicated. So
yeah, the characters turn on each other, and
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It does still, like, yeah, you're right. A lot of movies where, this really dangerous antagonist shows up, it makes the characters like bond together and present a united front, and that really doesn't happen in this one. It really does tear apart the sort of already fragile relationships. And yeah, Curse of Chucky probably the scariest movie in the Child's Play franchise, I would say.
Oh yeah, it's like
Um,
the most straight up horror in the entire franchise, I think.
yeah. Uh, I think only the first one really competes with it in that regard, and I think that Mancini had increased his skills by the time he made Curse, and so yeah, the scariest shot in the entire series, in my opinion, is when like Chucky has just been a completely motionless, ordinary seeming doll for the entire movie so far. And the little girl is hugging him, and we get a shot from behind where we can see his face and his pupils dilate.
Yeah.
It's just really, really subtle. He's not like running around with a knife or anything, but it's super freaking creepy. Um, love that movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
The movie's amazing. I mean, every Child's Play movie is amazing. It's like one of the best franchises, I think, in the history of horror. Like, it's like, I mean, there's not a
I
single one.
strongly agree.
There's not a single one in that entire franchise I dislike. They're all great. Like, even the ones that like people always rank them, but I'm like, but they're all great. So it's
Yeah. I haven't finished. I haven't completely caught up on the TV show,
definitely do.
but I've watched the first two. I think there's 3 seasons, and I've watched the first 2. Yeah.
And then it was unjustly cut short, unfortunately. But hopefully
Hey,
they-
man, I think
Yeah, so if anyone's listening who's got some pull there,
yeah, maybe you work for NBC Universal. Please fix this problem.
bring back Chucky, please.
yeah. Oh, I mean, Don Mancini is really useful to is really used to having producers be like, all right, that's enough Chucky for us. We're not going to fund any more Chucky. He's like, and then he finds another way to fund more Chucky, and I'm sure he'll figure out something to do with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, certainly hope so.
I have a lot of faith in Don Mancini. So, sorry.
So, all of your prior movies, I believe, are disconnected from each other. You haven't done any sequels, is that right?
No, we've never done a sequel.
Any desire to?
Not really. I don't think we have anything that really needs a sequel right now. I mean, if we ever made something like that, I mean, it's like hard because like we work on like a micro budget scale, so like the likelihood of like I feel like to have a sequel, you'd have to have some smash success film that has like a huge audience that would be clamoring for a sequel, and it's like we haven't really made anything that I think.
Yeah, it's funny. I think there's a few comments on a few of our films that are like, I would totally watch a sequel of this. It's like, cool, yeah.
I'm like, great, you got the budget.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we usually have a new idea that we're focused on, and I mean, I think it'd be cool to, yeah. I mean, I'd be down to do it in the future, but I think we just don't have anything that specifically calls for it.
Yeah.
All right.
At the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think a common thing they were kind of joking about the actors on Incubation was like, oh, we'll do Gideon's backstory or something. we'll have a film set in the village they talk about, or
yeah, a fun village set in their cult or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I agree that the movie definitely like stands on its own. I was wondering because talking about Child's Play, where that's all they're all, even as different as they are, they're all in the same continuity, and I'm thinking about other like really low budget independent films like the Carousel series, which is about a haunted carousel horse that kills people. And that's a series. Like they're currently looking for funding for the 4th one in the series, which is these are directed by Steve Rudzinski, really fun horror comedies. And when I did the friends and family showing of the private screening of the Philip Experiment, a bunch of people came up to me afterwards and were like, "Oh, that was so much fun. When are you going to make the sequel?" And I was like, I feel like the story's completed. I don't really think
it was very self-contained.
yeah. Like The characters are all dead at the end. I don't really know
Yeah.
what I would.
Yeah, the entire film was recovered because
Yeah.
all the characters were deceased. Spoiler alert for film 6.
No.
I guess you gave it away first, so
Yeah. Full spoilers, and I mean, micro budget horror. The characters die at the end. I feel like that's at least a third of the
Yeah.
movies that I watch.
No, I would love to have an audience big enough to warrant a sequel to something, but I feel like you have to have like kind of enough of a following to to be clamoring for it.
Yeah. So do you have like? I mean, you've made 6 movies. That's a pretty impressive number. Do you have like a fan base, or do you find a fresh audience with every film, or?
That's definitely something we struggle with, I think. We're not great at the whole marketing side of we're great at getting things made. We're not great at marketing it and like really mastering that skill.
Yeah, I mean,
we're
I think
trying.
yeah, I mean, I think building an audience over time, I mean, that's definitely something we would like to do moving forward, and it's something I think we could put more attention on. But I think it's mostly been, I mean, there's probably been a little bit of overlap between films, but it's mostly with audiences with new movies. So
Yeah, marketing is the hardest part of any project.
and I mean, our films are also pretty different from one another and kind of different genres, and so I think there's not like a huge overlap. I mean, if we were just focusing on like a certain brand of horror or something, then maybe there'd be more, and maybe that'd be a more prudent filmmaking path or something. But that's just not what we've done so far.
By different
we've dabbled. So
by different genres, do you mean different like subgenres of horror, or do you mean like entirely? Like, I'm pretty sure Bad Witch isn't like a romantic comedy or anything.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a horror comedy.
It's a horror comedy, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, go ahead, Josh. There.
Yeah, I mean, like I Like Me is like a straight up comedy.
Okay.
It's not horror related at all. Ape Canyon is not a horror film. It's a sort of a it's like it's a road movie, adventure movie about a brother and sister trying to find Bigfoot. So yeah, we've definitely dabbled in a bunch of different genres.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to make more horror stuff. I mean, Josh and I,
Yeah,
are big horror fans, and we had a good time. We had a good time making this. So
yeah, and our next the project we're writing right now is a horror horror. It's like a campy horror musical. So yeah, I think we mentioned it earlier.
Yeah. I was about to ask, is that the musical that you said you would need a bigger budget to?
We would definitely need a bigger budget, but not as big as the first musical I mentioned. So
All right. Yeah. So tell me a bit about the budget. This is, I think you used the phrase micro budget earlier, which most people that I talk to use that to mean like 100,000 or less.
Yeah.
So, and you also mentioned credit card debt earlier. I don't know if that was like if you were being serious and literal with that, or
we were being literal.
Okay. Is that how you've been funding your films? Is
this one? Yeah, we. I mean, we basically were like, well, we have a video production business. That's how we make a living.
Okay.
So we were like, all right, how much can we like reduce our as the salaries we pay ourselves for the year to pay for this movie? I was like, if we get like 3 credit cards with 12 months 0% interest, can we pay them off? How much can we spend to pay it off within a year before the interest kicks in?
Okay, that's good.
We kind of just did math based on our usual, like based on like what we knew we were gonna make that year in terms of like just like client income and things like that. So we have paid everything off. The movie's paid off. So
good.
We didn't end up paying any interest or anything like that.
Excellent.
So, but yeah, it was like literally just like, how much can we afford to spend of our company income this year?
So how much of that is because you want to maintain total control over it and you don't want to be beholden to any sort of investors? And how much of that, like, you would be willing to take on investors? It's just like marketing, it's an entirely different skill set finding investors than actually making a movie.
It's that one. Yeah, I mean, there was a film we've been trying to make for years that we were, like talking to different potential investors about and trying to, and it's just we weren't really getting anywhere. So we were just like, well, we just need to figure out how to make something ourselves with our own resources that we know we can pull off.
Yeah, and we hadn't made a feature in
Since Bad Witch.
since Bad Witch. I mean, we've done a handful of shorts and things, but I think we were both itching to actually make something happen, and we're kind of tired of waiting to, have these other people, give us the green light and the money, and we're like, well, we really want to make this. Let's just do it, and we'll suck it up with the finances and just make it happen. So
Nice. Yeah, it's that's really good that you guys are able to actually just sort of decide to do that and move forward with it on your own and not be beholden to other people. I think a lot of people uh might be able to do that but are too scared, or there are too many unknown unknowns for them to be able to confidently do it, especially with the fact that you guys took on debt initially and then paid it off. That's the kind of thing where if somebody tried that same strategy but messed it up, that could really cause a lot of problems for them.
Yeah, I don't think it's a
So
good idea. People shouldn't do it.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, this isn't really
This isn't
something I'd recommend to people.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. It was
nice. Yeah, for the Philip experiment, I ran a crowdfunding campaign which raised about half the budget, and then the other half I just spent out of my savings. So I didn't go into debt at all for it, but I did. It is yet to make positive profit.
yeah, that's always the tough part, isn't it?
Yeah. Ever I hate marketing so much, but it's so important.
Exactly. It's some people are very natural at it, and some of us, it's not really our forte.
Yeah. Yeah, my main artistic field that I work in is not actually filmmaking, it's game design. So I design and publish tabletop games. And I'm friends with a bunch of other people who do that. And one of the most successful uh, indie companies that I'm, friends with the owners and the workers at, um, their company publishes like Adventures for Dungeons and Dragons as like a side thing that they do for fun, and the thing that they do to actually make a living is that they're an advertising firm.
Mm.
And so they're really good at the marketing aspect of it. But they've told me explicitly, like, yeah, you see these crowdfunding campaigns that we run that bring in these big numbers of dollars, and you see how we have, these big booths at conventions and sell all of this product and run all of these games. Uh, this aspect of the company has never turned a profit. We spend more money on marketing than we bring in selling all of this stuff. Um, and it's the doing the marketing for other people that allows the company to stay afloat. Uh,
That's
so,
interesting. Okay.
so much of all of this kind of thing in the entertainment industry is sort of an illusion where you spend $20 in order to make $19.50, or $21 if you're really lucky. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, I think while you do, very justifiably warn people against it, I do think that if you can maintain total control over it, not go into debt, not have to sell your property to somebody else, not sign a license with a distributor that lets them charge you for marketing, or anything like that, which is very common among distribution deals.
Yeah.
Then you can avoid the really bad problems.
That's true.
So,
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely advantages. I just wouldn't want to tell people to go into debt to make a film just because it's an inherently poor financial decision.
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it's often how it happens, though. Yeah.
No, it's very common when people make indie films. I just don't think it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be like, do that, because gotta be really careful.
Yeah, I'd adjust it to say, spending your own money on it can be
Yeah.
totally fine. Going into debt on it, that's much more dangerous
No, and
because
like
of
the only
interest.
and like we knew what we could pay per month to make sure we wouldn't end up being in real debt, like paying interest and things like that. So,
That
it
is
requires being
that
like
is
really
good.
careful and doing the math and like making sure you're very confident and safe about about what and how you borrow.
Yeah.
Um,
So where well, so you guys took like 4 or 5 years between Bad Witch and Incubation. What's your plan for after you finish the festival run and get Incubation into distribution? Do you have another feature that you could make even without, needing to find the outside investor?
right now, all the scripts that we have kind of more ready to go would require an outside investor.
Okay.
Like the one we've been trying to get finance for a number of years. It's like since Bad Witch it's called the farm. Well, it's called the Farmhouse, and it's like a it's like a rural battle royale style movie, and that's the one we've been trying to get finance for a long time. Um, and it's from the writer who we're close friends with and has been a great collaborator. He wrote Ed Canyon, named Harrison Demchick. Um, but like that was like we've been trying to get investors for a long time. So I mean, we're gonna still try to get investors for it. It's just it's a difficult time to do that. And yeah, I think like pretty much all our ideas right now would require some kind of third party investor at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe we'll think of something cheaper in the meantime.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but that's kind of where we're gonna have to try to go. Is try to find some people who are interested.
All right. Um, so where do you see the future of independent film going?
Ooh, it's such a I don't know. The world's changing so fast right now. I honestly,
It really is, yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be more direct to online customer. I mean, I think there's going to be some theatrical, but I think theatrical is going to become. I mean, I still love going to movies. It's one of my favorite things to do, but it's becoming more and more of a niche thing. And actually, I did read something that Gen Z is going back to the movie theaters. I don't know if that's true or not, or just some media hype, but
I hope so.
yeah, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, like indie hasn't, like I mean, I love it when indies do make theatrical. To be honest, I don't know where indie film is going. I feel like no one knows where indie film is going right now, and anyone who says they do doesn't really know. Uh, I mean, I think like I mean, the audience is like there's more of it, and it's easier and harder to reach them than ever. Like there's more
Mm,
avenues to reach them, but it's also like you're competing for attention right now, which in a very difficult space where there's so many people competing for attention and so much content, so it's like how do you market a film in a world full of content? I don't know.
it's true. Uh, yeah, yeah, I think, I forget who said it, but it's very much the case that, like, it used to be hard to make a movie, but once you've made a movie, easy to make money off of it, and now it is easy to make a movie and very hard to make money off of it.
Well,
Uh,
I wouldn't say easy.
it compared to, like, the '70s,
No,
where
yeah,
you
for
would
sure.
where you would have had to purchase literal film, and you would have had to have specialized professionals
Yeah,
develop
yeah.
it.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Perhaps I should say cheap to make a movie.
Yeah, it's definitely much cheaper to make a movie.
Yeah, no, the costs have gone down, which is good.
Yeah,
And yeah,
but yeah, I guess yeah. I guess if I wish I knew the answer to your question. I guess
we're still figuring it out. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what the future is. I mean, it's hard to everything's changing so fast, and I feel like I don't know. It's like we're entering a new computer age with the whole world of with the world of AI and stuff. So, and I don't
Yeah,
think anyone really knows where that's going. Like, I mean, there's so much speculation, but no one really knows.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
I mean, we're recording. You said that this isn't gonna air for months. God only knows what the difference between what kind of AI stuff we're looking at now versus in 3 months. You know, I have no idea.
That's true.
I don't think anyone knows. So
Yeah, we're recording this on March 14th, and we'll see. I have this is, I think, the fourth, and then I'm gonna have a fifth interview that I do in a moment that hasn't been published yet, and I'm gonna try to stagger the schedule to, which is one per month. I'm gonna try to make it line up with like release dates and stuff if I can.
Yeah.
But if I can't, then you know. So Incubation currently making the festival circuit. You guys, have you been accepted into more festivals yet? Personally, I'm still waiting to hear back from, you know,
mostly
a
waiting
half
to hear back.
dozen.
We're mostly waiting to hear back. We are screening at a local film festival called the in Baltimore. On it's going to be the weekend of April 17th. I don't have the exact date yet. It's called the Baltimore New Media Web Fest. So it's like a or just sorry, Baltimore Next Media Web Fest. And I don't know exactly which date we're screening. I think it's April 17th, but I know it's definitely that weekend.
Yeah, I guess it'll probably have happened by the time this
Yeah,
goes
it'll
out, I would
already have
think.
happened. That's true. It can have already have happened by the time anyone's hearing this. So
All right.
And maybe be playing somewhere else too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have all that on
that's
our.
the next definite
Yeah.
screening. I don't, but
Yeah,
we're mostly still waiting because Midwest was our first.
Yeah, if this is if this comes out in like, you know, July or August or whatever, and you guys have already managed to get it onto streaming by then I will include a link to that in the description.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anywhere else, social media or anything like that, you would like to direct anyone who's listening?
Sure. Yeah, you can follow the film on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I think there's a TikTok for it. It's just Incubation Film.
Yeah, on Instagram or incubation_film.
Yeah.
And then let's see, Facebook. I think we're Incubation Film. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Your Instagram is showing me one screenshot from the film and 3 things about Midwest Weird Fest.
Oh yeah. Haven't been posting on there for very long. So we'll add some more soon.
At this point, hopefully by the time people are listening to it, there's more stuff on it. But yeah, right now it's
All right.
It's a pretty fresh page.
Thank you for coming on the show and talking with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, Thomas. Yeah, I'm glad we met at Midwest Weird Fest, and you've got a great film, and we're happy to talk with you about this. So
yeah, hopefully by the time people are hearing this, your film's also available. And
yeah. I hope you tell people about that too.
Really special film experiment. I really.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I
had no idea what I was getting going in, and I was really, I was really pleasantly surprised by it because I had no idea what was going in.
That's great.
I went in completely blind, so I was like, "Oh man, this is crazy."
Yeah, I was really inspired by a lot of other found footage filmmakers, especially Adrian Zofé, the guy who made Be My Cat and We Put the World to Sleep, which showed at Midwest Weird Fest, and his found footage manifesto. I really wanted to draw people in and then mess with their expectations by the end of it.
What's the manifesto?
The found footage manifesto. You can find that by just searching for it. So his name, if you read it and assume that it's pronounced like English, you would think that it's Adrian Tofé. But he makes a point that the fictional character he portrays, his name is pronounced Adrian. The real person, his name is pronounced Adrian. And it's not Tofé, it's Sofé. Like a TS, because it's Romanian. It's a letter that we don't have in English, but it looks similar to a T. And I can send you guys a link to it. But yeah, his website, adriantofé.com. You can read it there, and it's a really interesting perspective on what makes found footage as a sort of specific medium. really effective. And so I had that very much in mind while making the movie.
Wow, that's really cool.
Well, thank you. And yeah, I hope that you guys end up doing something with distribution, either doing it yourself or finding a good non-scummy distributor to work with, as difficult as that it is. And that people get to watch this, because this movie is a lot of fun and a great twisty turny thrill ride.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. Great talking with you.